I mean, I think that just from our team, we spent a lot of time investigating what is available and just what we could do in lieu of those tools, and what is helpful that's out there or that we could create, because everybody is busy. I mean, I get it. I live those roles, but you don't want to be too busy to train, because then your learners can say, well, I'm too busy to learn from you then. It's just making time to see what is available to you. Crosswalks, I absolutely love. We just made one, what, like a week ago, not even, just realizing that that tool really is going to be super helpful and fit a lot of those needs of different learners. But like to explain it, our crosswalk explains D1 to E, and it goes exact section by section. Each element in the section explains what's either been brand newly created in OASIS-E compared to D1, completely deleted, which isn't much, there wasn't a whole lot taken away, or what's been updated. And it's color coded. It's just this 4-page document, and it's a really good, concise, again, visual that we made just to give to staff as, here's your first cut and dry, everything that has been updated D1 to E. And it's not just us, tons of companies are making that kind of a crosswalk, and I think those are a great first line, super helpful tool. I mean, otherwise, just highlighting either real patient examples or sample patients, I feel like that is always helpful for clinicians, just to understand, well, what if I get into X situation? How do I deal with that? So there's a book, and I'm sure some of you guys listening, hopefully a lot of you have heard of it, 'cause it's really popular with home health. It's called Oasis Answers. That was also another tool that myself and the other nurse author, Maria, that wrote all of the OASIS-E module courses, we both asked for that book, had it on pre-order for weeks, because that's a book that has tons of patient scenarios, literally by each OASIS-E section, just so you can pull from that and use those patient scenarios as, in this situation, this is how you should code this item. And that's super helpful as far as a tool. And these scenarios, that's the thing. Why don't you take some of the scenarios, even if it's just reading from Oasis Answers from the book, and I'm pointing, if you guys can look at me, because it's over here. Here's the book in my office. Talk about that in a team meeting. Just, that's your opener. Talk about a scenario and just kind of have it make sense to everyone. Most of your clinicians, if they're not having to fill out Oasis, they're in there and they're still reading it, just to get that good view of that patient. So everyone in your office is familiar with it. And, again, catering to different types of learners. Okay, discuss a patient scenario in a meeting, or make a handout or type it into an email. Here's a fake patient. Let's score their mood, and I'll give you the answers, either, again, by an answer on a handout or by an email reply, or we'll discuss it at the meeting, and just have your staff practice in that manner based on a scenario. Give them an actual fictional patient to do something with, to get that into their brain, how to score it, how to code, why it's important, why you're bringing it up. Another thing is giving things away, like we mentioned, the crosswalk. Laminate the crosswalk. Find what you can that's a paper tool, and just point it out, pass it to your staff. I was always really big, and my staff would laugh at me. In hospice, it was purple folders. For whatever reason, I just chose the color purple, and I had paper 3-prong folders, and I would always print out little things that I thought were important and make you put it in your folder. Put this in your purple folder, and everyone would laugh, but they would keep their purple folder. And whether or not they drew on what was there because it was on paper, they still understood that the topic was important and that it was going to warrant a discussion or some sort of follow-up later. So again, handing tangible things, just one more tool. The other thing too, right now, we're doing a podcast. Set up a conference call or do a 15-30 minute Zoom type chat for your staff, because let's be real, it's hard to get everyone in the same room. You might be too busy during team to actually dedicate too much time. Well, make time completely separately just for the clinicians that fill out Oasis, and read from the Oasis Answers book and pick some scenarios that way. Dedicate that time now. It's October. You could start that tomorrow. The other thing is just the CMS OASIS guidance manual, making that available, I think is huge. And be realistic, it's, I think, 430 pages. Don't give everyone a paper copy of it, but remind them, hey, download that on your device, save it on your tablet or save it on your laptop, just because there's also patient scenarios in there. And there's huge, obviously Medicare specific language in that document. So if someone really does get stuck, they can search through that Bible of guidance. It's just all of those little tools and those ways to educate. Go out, find what is going to work well for the staff that you have, and keep giving it to them. And the only last thing that I thought of too, which I think is important in thinking about tools, and it's nothing that we can really give, with HCP, but creating preceptors just with you guys locally. If you have clinicians that are just great at documentation, or they explain things together, have them help you. If you're a training manager or an administrator, you don't have to be the only educator. If your home health agency doesn't have a dedicated educator, pick some staff members and make them preceptors. I used to try really hard to be approachable and to tell my staff, no matter where I work, like, don't ever feel stupid coming to me. There's no stupid questions. So even though I work to be approachable, I was still in charge. Not everybody's going to want to hear it from the person in charge. They may still take that education, smile and nod their head at me, but they may learn better when they're in the field doing it with a peer. So make those preceptors and have people go out together. And I know that it costs more and it's not effective, but I used to send clinicians out 2 at a time to do admissions when they were new, because otherwise you need a backup. It's such a big document. The accuracy is important. Even if you only do it once or twice, you can have that team approach to going and getting used to the process of OASIS-E. I think that's a great idea to trial again, even if it's only once or twice, just to really hit home with the importance of filling out that document appropriately.